A slew of new PlayStation 4 game announcements are coming soon. There is a great deal on a great remaster available right now, and GameStop is trying to get back into the race. We're gonna cover all of these topics in this video, so let's get right into this. So if you thought E3 brought all of the surprises that Sony has and all of the game announcements, well then you're in for a shock, because as Sony said on Twitter, E3 was only half of the story, and next week brings Paris Games Week, which Sony has always made a big impact on. And what's already been confirmed for Paris Games Week this Monday on October 30th is that Sony will include 7 all-new game announcements. This covers both PlayStation 4 and PlayStation VR games, and along with that, you'll have gameplay of 14 existing titles, and that'll bring the total amount of games that'll appear at Paris Games Week, at least on Sony's side, to 21. These announcements will start coming in during Sony's pre-show event, kicking off at 8 AM Pacific time on October 30th. At 9 AM the same day, that's when the official show begins, and Sony will, quote, give you an exclusive new look at the next wave of huge PlayStation titles. And after that event ends, Sony's post-show stream will dive even deeper into the reveals. All you have to know is that Monday is going to be a very busy day with a lot of new gameplay and game announcements. Now, if you're expecting 7 top-tier AAA games, I think you're going to be a little bit disappointed. I would imagine that at least 2 to 4 of these announcements are going to be PlayStation VR titles, and that hasn't completely found its footing over on the PlayStation 4, but at least Sony hasn't given up on the product, especially because a lot of gamers did drop a whopping $400 on the unit, so new titles for that is very nice. As far as new game announcements on the PlayStation 4, you can probably expect a mix of downloadable titles as well as 1 or 2 big AAA titles. That's just speculation on my part, but games we could see is a new title from Software, a new title from Sucker Punch, the guys behind Infamous, and maybe we can see a new game from Housemarque. Those guys just released Matterfall, but they typically release games pretty consistently, and their games are excellent, even though they're not the most well-known studio. Housemarque has created some incredible games, including Super Stardust HD, Dead Nation, and of course the aforementioned Matterfall, which just released back in August. Regardless, Sony's Paris Games Week should be a huge event, and outside of that, we could also see gameplay of existing titles, Spider-Man, God of War, Days Gone. All of those titles we did see at E3, and we got a sizable amount of gameplay, so I don't know how much deeper they're gonna delve into that, especially considering the releases for those games aren't that far off, so they've given a lot at this point. But yeah, we could see more of those games as well. Paris Games Week is shaping up to be a big event for Sony, but that's not all that Sony has to offer this year. In December, we've also got PlayStation Experience, and expect that to round out the year and finish off with the big announcements. But for now, Monday, you have to look forward to Paris Games Week. There is a lot of potential with that game, and how could I forget to mention Quantic Dream's latest game, Detroit Become Human. You can expect to also see that. That may also be a big title that appears at the big show.
We are to them. There's merchandise on display in a shop window. Let's get them out.
We'll stick to the plan. Neutralize the alarm systems and secure the area. There's 10 minutes until all our teams attack. You're awake now.
Marcus, watch out!
You are committing a Class 3 offense. This infraction is being reported to the police.
Shit.
Moving on, there's a fantastic deal available right now for Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen, an excellent action RPG originally released on the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 back in 2012. Very good game, it was critically acclaimed, and then it was remastered onto the PlayStation 4, just released a few weeks ago. And over on Green Man Gaming, they have got an excellent deal for the game. Typically goes for $30, and again, this just released back on October 3rd. It is 60% off, down to just $12. And this is Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen, so it includes the base game as well as the Dark Arisen expansion pack, so you get a lot of content for your money. And as you can expect, the game features all your typical HD remastering improvements, improved visuals, increased technical performance, which is a big deal because while this game was very good on the PlayStation 3, the only real issue was it was on the technical side. A bit of frame rate dips and things like that, but that is remedied on the PlayStation 4. And the game itself is very good. A lot have drawn comparisons to Dark Souls, and I can definitely see where that comes from, but it's got its own fantasy elements and gameplay nuances that make it stand out and make it its own experience. And for $12, this is a game you can sink a lot of time into, north of 70 to 100 hours. Whether you've played the game or not, at this price, it's really too good of a deal to pass up, so definitely check out Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen. We'll leave a link down below to Green Man Gaming where you can pick it up. That is a great, great deal.
I shall still feast.
finally, we want to go over an announcement from GameStop. As the digital age is moving forward and a lot more gamers are using Amazon, brick and mortar stores are really becoming a thing of the old, but GameStop isn't going down without a fight. They have announced Play Pass. It's $60 for 6 months of unlimited used rentals. You get to rent out one game at a time and you can exchange at any point. The only issue is obviously you do have to drive back and forth to GameStop. So with a service like GameFly, you do get it at the comfort of your own home, but GameFly's supply has always been a bit shoddy. With GameStop's Power Pass, you just get to go in and check out their used library, pick up any games, and a lot of times what happens at GameStop is that with new game releases, you can find them used a week after their release. A lot of gamers just pick it up, beat it, then trade it in a week later. So there's a lot of potential in Power Pass, and not only that, so it's 6 months for $60, essentially $10 a month, which is already very good for a rental service. You also get to keep the last game that you decide to rent. So you pay $60 for 6 months, and then at the end of that time period, the last game you've rented, it could be a $50 game. If you get lucky and can pick up one of those new releases, you can end up keeping that game for free. So this does have a lot of potential. At this point, I don't know how much traction this is going to gain, especially with a lot of gamers just having their set ways, whether they're buying games digitally, whether they're an Amazon Prime member and they're getting them delivered 20% off. But this is a really incredible value that I think a lot of gamers will be enticed by. We'll see. Sign-ups start on November 19th, and it'll be interesting to see how this plays out and if it can get GameStop back in the race. GameStop's still doing very well, but you can see as the gaming world is moving to a digital age, as well as online platforms such as Amazon, GameStop does have to do some things to get them back into that race. So that's going to conclude this video. Let us know what you think in the comments section down below. What games do you want to see at Paris Games Week? That Dragon's Dogma deal is amazing, so if you haven't picked that game up, definitely do so. And then let us know what you think about GameStop's Play Pass. Is it something that you're enticed by, or have you already moved away from GameStop? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.